Excellent. Okay, with District Metals, we got started in Sweden in 2020, putting together some base metal polymetallic projects with our flagship at the time being Tomtebo. And more recently, we've put together 5 uranium-focused projects, which is our flagship there is the Viken project. So just the cautionary statement, you can find this on our website. So with District Metals, you get a team that has a track record of success from discovery through to putting projects into production. Obviously, we're very focused in Sweden. When we first entered in 2020, it was very good jurisdiction. It's only getting better with the new center-right coalition government that's currently in power right now. As I mentioned, on the uranium side, our flagship is the Viken property, hosts the Viken deposit. It is the second largest uranium deposit in the world. There's 1.15 billion pounds of uranium and about 16.7 billion pounds of vanadium, also potash and other energy metals such as molybdenum, nickel, copper, and zinc. We've also got 4 other advanced stage uranium projects that I'll talk one page on further down. And with our flagship Tomtebo, base metal Tomtebo project, we've got Boliden earning in over the next 4 years, spending $10 million, and we are the operator, get a 7.5% operator fee. And they've also added in their Stolberg project that we're working in collaboration with Boliden as well. All right, on the team, I won't go into major detail, but myself, I'm a geologist by training. A lot of experience in the Southwest Athabasca, making discoveries. Actually discovered a new uranium district that included the Triple R deposit that's now owned by Fission and was also with NextGen Energy. Had a lot of success with the Arrow deposit and other discoveries along that Patterson Lake corridor in the Southwest that has delivered a lot of value to shareholders. We're also happy to have Hein Rat and Rodney Allen they come from Boliden that support our operations in Sweden. So good to have boots on the ground and intense knowledge about the rocks and how everything works there as well. On the board, we've got Joanna Cameron, who I worked with at NextGen. She's a lawyer by training. Doug Ramshaw and Rita Bennett, they come from Great Bear, from the Discovery Group, obviously very big assets to the team. Jonathan Chalice is a mine engineer by training, good capital markets experience. And one of our most recent additions is Sophia Shane. She was with the Lundin Group for just under 30 years, knows Sweden inside out, and has a large Rolodex that has been extremely helpful. And we plan on listing on the NASDAQ Stockholm in the upcoming future, I should say, and she'll be absolutely crucial in that process. Our share structure, we've got about 5.8 million cash, some very significant shareholders, well known that I'm not allowed to mention, but Sachem Cove has about a 9.9% position from our last financing. MMCap has a long uranium position as well and holds about 11% of District Metals. Extract Capital out of New York and many other funds out of Europe and whatnot. And one of our secret to success is the Jordan Fund, which is a large group of high net worths that started around Adolf Lundin and is one reason why we're looking to eventually list on the NASDAQ Stockholm exchange in the future. All right, so Sweden is definitely one of the best jurisdictions I've ever operated in. I mean, the history goes back to 400 BC with the Garpenberg mine. It's a powerhouse in terms of the metals that get produced there, especially for iron ore. There are currently 12 metal mines there, and the current government has a plan to increase that significantly, which is also being put on by pressure by the EU and NATO. So the big players in Sweden are Boliden and Lundin, but there's also BHP, Agnico Eagle, LKAB, and Mandalay Resources. The government agencies that we deal with are amazing. Our permitting times are 4 to 6 weeks to get drill permits, and obviously when you get to the mining stage, the tax regime is quite good. There's also, something to mention is that the Swedes embrace the full value chain of everything they do, whether it be energy metals and also looks like for uranium and nuclear as well. So let's chat a bit about the Viken project. So you can see it highlighted right there. Essentially, we picked up a bunch of uranium projects in Sweden because the government has shifted to support nuclear energy and is looking to lift the uranium moratorium, which look like it's going to happen this year. Currently, there's 6 operating nuclear reactors that supply about 40% of electricity in Sweden. They're looking to increase that to about 16 reactors by 2045, also implement small modular reactors. So things are all headed in the right direction. There's currently a rapid investigation going on into lifting the moratorium, and the results from that will be coming out in May 15th. So about 2 weeks. That's a critical time for us. We expect the results from that to be very positive, and those results will inform a bill that should be voted on in Parliament, potentially in late spring or more likely in late fall. Once a bill gets to Parliament, the chances of it passing are 96%, and then we would expect that to go into legislation a couple months later. So it definitely looks like this is the year the moratorium will be lifted, and we're set up very well with 5 great uranium projects in Sweden. So zooming in on the Viken project here. So the history here, this was last operated, advanced by Continental Precious Minerals. They reached a market cap of $330 million back in the last uranium cycle in 2007, 2008. They put out a PEA in 2014 that had an NPV of $1 billion on the Viken deposit. And so, but of course, with Fukushima and then the moratorium was implemented in 2018, was not so good for Continental. So we were able to pick up most of the Viken deposit for very low staking cost. And then I should mention most recently, our next door neighbors, Aura Energy. They have the Hagen deposit, which is the yellow outline here. In September of 2023, they put out a scoping study on that deposit that showed NPV of $1.6 billion, IRR of 47%, payback period of 1.5 years, and CapEx of $592 million. This is really showing the value of these kind of deposits in the or alum shale deposits in Sweden. Just the resource numbers, you can find this on our website with all the details. And so going into some of our uranium projects here, Sakjarn, the underlying theme here is these have not seen any modern systematic exploration since the 1980s. This has a resource of 1.14 million pounds at a grade of 0.07% with a lot of really good drill intercepts that are wide open in most directions. For me as a uranium geologist, this is going to be a lot of fun to come in and build value off of these earlier stage projects, as well as push forward the Viken PEA with an update on that. Nyan Fors is underpinned by a very large high-grade uranium boulder field with boulders up to 1.4%. It's also got some yttrium in it, molybdenum that were assayed just sporadically. So one thing we'll be doing is multi-element assays on everything that we see at Nyan Fors. It's never been drilled, but based on the outcrop and the size of the boulder field, the Swedish Geological Survey put together an exploration target estimate of a minimum 13 million pounds, grading 0.07 to 0.14% U3O8. So this, again, is going to be very, very fun to get up on and start drilling. Ardnasvarre is located to the north of our Viken project. It is analogous to the Athabasca Basin. It's got mineralization within basement rocks and sandstone that are the same age in the Athabasca, and it's got high-grade uranium boulders up to 29% located to the southeast and down ice of this project. To my knowledge, no Athabasca geologist has ever looked at this for unconformity-type mineralization. Talsho project, now this is very similar to Viken, it's just earlier stage, but this project has very thick alum shale, up to 400 meters, so the game plan is to advance this into a mineral resource and then do PEA, PFS, and advance it in that fashion. And I won't talk too much about our base metal polymetallic projects, but the big draw here is that these are very large deposits. The metal endowment within the Bergslagen is immense. Our Tomtebo project's right in between the Falun mine and Garpenberry mine. Garpenberries are operated by Boliden. The Zinkgruvan mine is operated by Lundin. They're mining down at the 1,400 meter level, and yeah, they're just gigantic polymetallic variants of VMS deposits and also SEDEX. So in October of last year, Boliden agreed to earn into our Tomtebo project by spending $10 million over the next 4 years. We're the operator, 7.5% operator fee. And then they've also brought in their Stolberg project, which you can see right over there. Now, this is more advanced than our Tomtebo property, and it's very good analog to their Garpenberg mine. And it's very good that Hein and Rodney have a lot of experience on Stolberg. So Tomtebo just has, the same rocks, alteration, mineralization styles as what you see at Garpenberg and at at Falun. And just, the size of these deposits is immense. If you were to conceptually copy and paste the Garpenberg mine onto the project, you could do this 3 or 4 times, and you can see on our Tomtebo project, we have the historic Tomtebo mine, the historic Lovas mine. A lot of our drilling has been at the historic Tomtebo mine. In 21-22, we had many very good intercepts ranging from 12 to 30 meters, grades of 8 to 15% zinc equivalent. And most recently, we just put out some drill results going underneath hole 38, which you can see right there. That hole hit 25.5 meters of 8.2% zinc equivalent, had a very high grade 0.4 meters at 384 grams per ton gold, 855 grams per ton silver. So we're looking forward to getting those assays back in the first half of June. And so just for timelines here, so we've completed drilling at Tomtebo and put out drill hole visuals as of yesterday, where we hit 17 meters of semi-massive to massive copper-rich sulfides. The assays will be out in the first half of June. We've also got a bunch of mineral license applications that will be approved in the month of May that we'll put news out on. And then, of course, that May 15th deadline for the investigation into the uranium moratorium is pretty critical, and we look forward to seeing the results of that. And then once the moratorium is lifted, we're going to go full speed ahead into updating the PEA on the Viken deposit, and also look to aggressively explore our other uranium properties in Sweden. And then after that, we've also got some additional drilling that will be starting back up in September and October at the Stolberg project that's fully funded by Boliden. So that's pretty much it for District Metals. I mean, you've got the team, you've got the great jurisdiction, we've got an amazing portfolio of uranium and base metal projects. We're backed by Boliden, and I couldn't be more proud of our shareholder base that is very, very strong and knowledgeable and supportive of what we're doing, and they know exactly what's going to happen going forward. But that's it for now. Thanks very much.
Thank you so much, Garrett. We have just a couple seconds if there's a burning question out there. And if not, I'm going to let you go. Let you off the hook this time. But thank you very much. Coming from British Columbia, probably the only other place with a uranium moratorium, I'm going to look forward to that May 15th deadline and see what happens. So thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks very much.
All right.